welcome. I'm thinking that you're seeing Buzz Aldrin on your screen. So we're going to start this out right with a little bit of, I don't know if you'd call it music. It's not really music, but you'll see what I mean. Let me make sure everything's working. Looks like it is. All right, are you guys ready? Let's see here. Enjoy.
Do that. Well, we'll have to rely on space instead.
The problem is the moon. The problem is the moon. We don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology in a nanosecond. We don't have the technology to do that anymore, and it's a painful process to build it back again. I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again. We used to build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again. We used to build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again. In a nanosecond, destroyed that technology, destroyed that technology, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again.
Well, I kind of have two moons in my head, I guess, whereas most people just have one moon. I look at the moon just like everybody else who's never been there. There it is, and I've always thought it was interesting, whether it's full or a sliver or what have you. But every once in a while I do think of the second moon, the one that I recall from up close, and it's kind of hard to believe that I was actually up there.
I want to promise you, I'm human. I pinch myself to find out whether it was really happening. I call the moon my home for 3 days of my life, and I'm here to tell you about it. That's science fiction.
My father was born shortly after the Wright brothers. He could barely believe that I went to the moon.
Hard to believe that I was actually up there.
Barely believe.
Science fiction.
Barely believe.
Science fiction.
Barely believe.
Science fiction.
Barely believe.
Science fiction.
Hard to believe that I was actually up there. Actually up there.
Science fiction.
Actually up there.
Science fiction.
Because there's no gravity, you're floating. Because there's no gravity, you're floating.
Science fiction.
Because there's no gravity.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
We didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
We didn't.
And that's the way it happened. It didn't happen, and that's the way it happened. They'll make sure you go to school.
Continue to just produce imagery of all types. And the more we put out there, the more real it becomes to everyone. And the more we put out there, the more real it becomes to everyone.
And sometimes that is really difficult to believe that it could actually be true. It's difficult to believe that this is happening. It's difficult to believe sometimes that it's actually happening. And sometimes that is really difficult to believe that it could actually be true.
I'm Don Pettit, NASA astronaut. Space station is a serious place. We have a regenerative life support system, which is a fancy way of saying serious research, scientific research, that we've got a toilet that you use, and then a machine that goes chugga, 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 chug, and then you go to the galley and you make yourself a cup of coffee. Serious research, scientific research, and that's exactly what you are thinking it is.
But water is such a precious resource up here that we also are cleaning up our urine and making it drinkable, and it's really not as bad as it sounds.
Better you than me.
We even recycle our urine.
Pig.
But before you cringe at the thought of drinking your leftover wash water and your leftover urine.
Chugga, 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 chug.
Kind of engineering research that we're doing on space station. I want to do some physics demonstrations. Chugga, 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 chug. Some eggs. And don't ask me how I got to eggs on space station. I've got a bungee spread across the hatchway. Serious research, scientific research. And this bungee is kind of like a slingshot. And I'm going to show the trajectory that Redbird is going to have when I fire him with this orbital slingshot. Launching Redbird into space. Well, hey, we're already in the space. Chugga, 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 chug. Whoa, look at that. Whoa, all the way down. Guess what? Chugga, 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 chug. Chugga, 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 chug. Chugga, 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 chug. And if you understand the math, if you understand the physics, it will allow you to go out and get where you're an astronaut and you can fly in space in games. This is all that's left of Pig after Pig got exploded. Chugga, 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 chug. Chugga, 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 chug. I would go back to space in a nanosecond. That's what I do for a living. I'd be willing to immigrate from Earth, immigrate into space, leaving Earth and never come back, so long as we had the technology so that you could survive. You know, one-way missions to Mars where you go there and then run out of air and die. That's not in the cards. I'd load my family up on the next rocket and we'd immigrate into space.
Okay, so where does the pee go if you do it in the spacecraft?
In the spacecraft, it's collected and then dumped, as he described. And you would want to see the urine dump was cool.
And it's just something that it's a continual occurrence. It's like a very small rain, a drizzle, and it's just something that you have to engineer around when you make a spacecraft. Well, I would go back to space in a nanosecond.
Get thee hence, Satan. For it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
I think it's going to sound pretty crazy.
Spacefaring entities. Just the launch is difficult enough.
Can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up.
A city on Mars?
Jupiter. Saturn. Uranus. What? No, Uranus.
Everyone just thinks rockets just go up.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond.
Just the launch is difficult enough.
We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
So with that will conclude our briefing. Thank you very much.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. And it's still tripping me out. I mean, I'm tripping balls here. Tripping balls here.
Okay, I hope that was fun, because that was fun for me. Thomas Morgan in the chat said, I'll stick to my own coffee. No thank you, NASA. From the water Jesus created. So I looked that up in John chapter 4. He's with that woman at the well. And I'll just read a little bit of it. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus saith unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that you, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Jesus answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. So, yeah, get some of that water. That's the real water, not the recycled urine that NASA favors to drink and to teach our children. By the way, don't teach children to do that. NASA, come on. I don't know why they're weirdos. They're going into a place of darkness, and when they get there, they just fall continuously. Fall into darkness. Sounds like a place that I don't want to be. Just saying. So, were you there? Is that the title of this? I think it is. Were you there? I'm asking myself too. Was I there? I don't think I was there. Was I there? Let me read something. But I'll get something playing in the background first that you can watch. Whoops, wrong video. Sorry. Don't worry. There, that's the one I was looking for. If you want an explanation of how this is happening, just ask God. Go to the Word of God. There's a great explanation of how all of it happens. And if you really want to know the details, look at the Book of Enoch, because you can learn a lot more than what the Bible tells about these clear descriptions of what happens in the sky. So, another thing I wanted to read to you is Job 38, and then we'll read part of Job 26 also. So, what I'm going to do, I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's a little bit of music. And by the way, there's a link in the description to this channel, White Bat Audio. Check it out if you want. There should be a link in the description. If there's not, I will pin it in a comment or something. There should be, though. It's a YouTube channel, and the guy makes a lot of like Twitch streaming music, and I don't know all the lingo for it all, but I use it in my videos a lot. So thanks to, I think, what was his name? I don't want to say his name because I can't think of what it is, but it's White Bat Audio is the channel. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, whoops. Sorry, guys. That's not, he didn't say whoops. I'm going to start over. That was me bumping my microphone. So, sorry about that. That was awful timing. Okay, I'm starting over. Oh, before I start though, by the way, since I didn't want to forget, maybe on Saturday, if it works out for Thomas Morgan, we were going to go on YouTube and talk about the gospel of the kingdom being preached. I love that idea, Thomas. So we were hoping that we would have time. I don't know if Saturday, but we'll figure it out. That's always fun to talk to Thomas Morgan. So here we go. I'm going to start over with the Job 38, and this time I'm not going to screw it up. Okay. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Or who shut up the sea with doors, when it brake forth, as if it had issued out of the womb? When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness a swaddling band for it, and break up for it my decreed place, and set bars and doors, and said, Hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall thy proud waves be stayed? Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the dayspring to know his place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it? It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea, or hast thou walked in search of the depth? Have the gates of death been opened unto thee, or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death? Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest at all. Where's the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where's the place thereof? That thou shouldest take it to the bound thereof, and that thou shouldest know the paths to the house thereof. Knowest thou it because thou wast then born, or because the number of thy days is great? Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war? By what way is the light parted, which scattereth the east wind upon the earth? Who hath divided a watercourse for the overflowing of waters, or a way for the lightning of thunder? To cause it to rain on the earth, where no man is, on the wilderness, wherein there is no man, to satisfy the desolate and waste ground, and to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth? Hath the rain a father, or who hath begotten the drops of dew? Out of whose womb came the ice, and the hoary frost of heaven? Who hath gendered it? The waters are hid with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his season, or canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons? Knowest thou the ordinances of the heaven? Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth? Canst thou lift up the voice to the clouds, that abundance of waters may cover thee? Canst thou send lightnings, that they may go and say unto thee, Here we are? Who hath put wisdom in the inward parts, or who hath given understanding to the heart? Who can number the clouds in wisdom, or who can stay the bottles of heaven? When the dust groweth into hardness, and the clods cleave fast together, wilt thou hunt the prey for the lion, or fill the appetite of the young lions, when they couch in their dens and abide in the covert to lie in wait? Who provideth for the raven his food? When his young one cries unto God, they wander for lack of meat. That was Job 38. And in Job 26, let's see how long this one is. Whoops, my computer's really slow right now, by the way. Good thing I had these things opened already. Maybe we'll just read the whole thing, because my computer's not responding to anything. Probably need to clean my computer out or something. I hope everything's clear. Good to see you guys. I'll just start reading here in verse... Oop, now it scrolled. Right when I was going to start reading. I'm just going to read the whole chapter. But Job answered and said, How hast thou helped him that is without power? How savest thou the arm that hath no strength? How hast thou counseled him that hath no wisdom? And how hast thou plentifully declared the thing that it is, as it is, To whom hast thou uttered words? And whose spirit came from thee? Dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Hell is naked before him, and destruction hath no covering. He stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. He bindeth up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not rent under them. He holdeth back the face of his throne, and spreadeth his cloud upon it. He hath compassed the waters with bounds, until the day and night come to an end. The pillars of heaven tremble, and are astonished at his reproof. He divideth the sea with his power, and by his understanding he smiteth through the proud. By his spirit he hath garnished the heavens, his hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are parts of his ways, but how little a portion is heard of him. But the thunder of his power who can understand? There we go. Destruction has no covering. Yes. Thomas Morgan says, Joe, your computer's been slow for 5 years. That's true. I think I've had it about 5 years by now. But it was a really nice one. It's still a nice one. What does it say? Intel Core 17, 7th generation. And it's a HP. It's a laptop. It's got a touch screen, but I never touch it. Too far away. So I will, okay, let me do this. Yeah, so that music that's in the description. So I was talking about the planets yesterday, and I wanted to play this video, but I didn't play it yesterday. This video is actually it kind of goes over what I went over yesterday about the planets. I just want you to check it out and tell me what you think. The moon has 4 names: Asanja, Ebla, Benace, Ere. The sun has 2 names: Orgerez, Tomez. Enoch 78. The question I'm going to ask here is, what are the planets? 7 of them: Mars, Venus, Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. These are evil planeo, seducers. They lead astray, they cause to wander, they deceive. These 7, at the beginning of their rising, they didn't come out at their appointed time that God ordained and commanded them. And so he was angry with them, and he bound them in the blackness of darkness until judgment. He imprisoned them. Then, in Genesis 6, there were angels that came down to the earth and lusted after the daughters of men. And they created offspring with these daughters of men. And the offspring were mighty giants and very evil. And when these giants died, their spirits would stay on the earth and become evil spirits. And the angels that came down would be buried in the earth for 70 generations. And then when that time came, they would be led off to the abyss of fire. And the abyss of fire is also known as outer darkness, the blackness of darkness, Sheol, many different names and descriptions, the wilderness. It's a spiritual place, and it's a prison. This is why so many people today are gathered against this organization, I should say these organizations, that call themselves space agencies. They are not going to a place that is a solar system. They're being lured into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Nobody realized this. And so Apollo came and went with the moon missions. And they landed on the moon, they say. But the moon is a light. And as I said a few minutes ago, it has 4 names: Asandra, Ebla, Benese, and Ere. So, as children, everyone alive today was taught that these 7 evil, transgressing, bound up, imprisoned luminaries were places to go. And now we have Elon Musk trying to go to Mars to create a world for humanity, just in case this world goes bad. This is a mistake to take part in any of this. It's a mistake to believe in any of this. It's a mistake to believe that this is for humanity. It's not. It's the devil and the demons. The fallen angels have now invited men, by their inspiration, they've invited men to create technology, and they've taught men, especially Elon Musk, they've taught him how to go into that darkness, and they're coming back through into the earth, because men are basically opening the jail cell. So although we were taught these planets were places in a solar system, they're not. The stars in the sky, besides these 7, all circle the North Star. These 7 are the only ones that don't. And actually, there's an 8th one now, because there's the space station. 8 wandering stars. John, in Revelation 17, went to a place where there were 7 mountains, and the 8th was the beast. And the reason why that interests me is because Enoch also went to a place that had 7 mountains. And guess what those mountains were? They were those 7 stars that didn't obey God. And it's even said in the book of Enoch that those fallen angels and those 7 transgressing stars would defile mankind and lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. By assuming many different forms. We're in a spiritual battle today, and almost everybody's probably not aware of the things that I just explained. And that means you're losing the battle. Because we need to come out of this place. This place where there's planets, this solar system where there's a globe. Run away from it. It's nothing but wickedness. And it is a trick that the devil is still deceiving many of you with. And no, I don't know everything. But I do know this. And I didn't learn this from myself. I learned it from a higher power that's trying to get this information to people in this physical material world we live in, called the Earth. This information comes down from heaven by the old writings of the prophets. They wrote about these things long ago. And it was even written that it would be kept secret until the end. And then it would be revealed. The sevenfold doctrine of God's whole creation would be received in the world at the end. That's today. So what I'm saying is, jump off the ball. It's flat. It's stationary. You know it. I know it. The pride that makes you want to stay on that globe isn't worth it. Get rid of it. I did. It's the best thing I ever did. The earth is a plane. And live in the world that you experience. Don't live in the world that this world and science has tried to sell us all. Because it's false. And all their efforts in the sky will come to naught, and God won't have any pity. Come out of her, my people. Don't partake in her sins, because they're reaching up to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
He doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Sitting on a dragon on top of the beast.
It's a bottomless pit.
In this abyss of darkness.
I really believe in the space frontier of the abyss, so to speak.
A good abyss. A good abyss.
Yeah, there is no good abyss. So, just so you know. Edward the Christian says, Jesus said, "Behold, I have told you all things." He never mentioned flat, so it flat, what next? Well, I didn't know this before, but I'll see if my computer will allow me to go to Romans 16. And I was looking for a video that I made a while back about maybe we'll just do a little research here. Let's do that. Let's look at this. Let's go to, this is just something that is interesting to me that I didn't know until I more diligently was reading in the book of Romans, and I found this, and I was like, wow, that really is amazing that I didn't know that about what Paul experienced, I'll say. Sorry, my computer's really slow. But there was a secret that's been kept from men since the foundation of the world. I didn't know that. And that secret would be, well, the revelation of Jesus Christ is when this secret would be made known, and that it would be a gospel. And it just reminds me exactly of what Thomas and me were texting about a little bit yesterday or day before. The gospel of the kingdom, Jesus said that would be preached before the end. And what is being revealed about the sky, I would say that's probably more important than, whether it's flat or not. I think what happened is our understanding that the earth is flat. First of all, the understanding that it's not a globe. I think that's important. As Thomas pointed out, and Jake Chatham said there is no globe. Thomas Morgan put the globe emoji and said graven image, Romans 1. Which we're in Romans 1. Might as well look at that. It's something that it's a corruptible image made of something that's incorruptible. And I'm not saying I know everything, but look at what it says here in verse 18. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven. Revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, think of like Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's what I think of when I read that. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. We're corruptible. We're like when we die, that's why we die. Because we're something that's incorruptible, or what does it say? Uncorruptible. Let's just look at that word in the Greek. Let's just look at that, because I don't think I ever have. Just think of what the globe is. It's trying to wrap the whole world into one thing, and that's not the world we live in. I mean, have you ever taken a cross-the-country trip or whatever in a car? It just goes on forever. Uh-oh. It says we're waiting here. It just goes on forever. And you can't see that whole distance. Like, if you try to see as far as you can see. Sorry, I'm having trouble here. We'll get rid of Job 38 then. and John 4. Better leave the book of Enoch open. My computer doesn't feel right without a tab of Bible Hub open and a tab of the book of Enoch open. So we're waiting on that. I wish I would have brought my Bible down here again. I should have. In Romans 16, the very last few verses, it's like something that's like kind of shocking. And I do believe that it's about now. I think that, and I want, there's something that Paul saw. Paul was shown, and he wrote about it in the vision of St. Paul, which my computer's really not enjoying this. So what I'm going to do is, wow, it's really not enjoying this. It's doing something though. There we go. While it's doing that, I'll slow it down by looking for a video. I don't remember what the video or where the video was or what it was called, but it was totally about it was the vision of St. Paul. I was reading out of that, and I don't know where it is. We might have to go to my YouTube channel and find it. Okay, it went to Romans 1:23. So I'll hit this Greek button. I just want to look at that one word, uncorruptible. So while we're waiting, I'm just looking through, trying to find this video. I'm not having any luck. There we go. Here. And they changed the glory of the immortal God into a likeness of an image of mortal man. Okay, that's interesting. A likeness. So that word would be immortal. Something that doesn't die, okay? Like the glory of the God who doesn't die, and changed it into a likeness of an image. So that goes right along with something in Isaiah 40, where it says the glory of the Lord will be revealed and all flesh will see it together. And that was actually right after it described the earth being flattened. Like it said, the valleys will be lifted and the mountains and hills will be made low, and crooked would be made straight and rough places plain. Okay, maybe that's like symbolic of this understanding, right? Of flat earth. But I think the reason why I think it's the gospel of the kingdom of God is because I look up at the sky and I see something completely different than I did before I thought about flat earth. Do you know? So that was that. But now we're going to go look at Romans 16. Just because there is this mystery, and I'm still actually addressing what Edward the Christian was saying about he never mentioned it flat, like what's next. I lost my chance. There we go. So there's this secret that Paul writes about that he was shown, and this secret was not known to men. And actually, when we get to read this account later on, which I'll just open it up here. We'll see what we can find here. The Gnostic Library. I think that's where I've read it before. It probably doesn't matter. But it gives a little... They found this underneath the house that Paul lived in. And an angel told the person where it was and that they had to publish it. So that's the story. And they brought it to the king or whatever, and because it was in like a lead box or something. And he opened it and published it. They sent the copy to another king or something. I don't know. I don't want to go over the whole thing. But what's interesting about this is some of the things that Paul learns on this journey up to the heavens. He gets told a lot of things. And I'm trying to remember where it was. I know that 11 here, there's some, okay, first of all, the firmament. People don't know this about the firmament, or what people are calling space. That that's a prison. And I've been trying to share this way of thinking, because when they think they're going to Mars, they don't understand what they're messing with. They're destroying the world with what they're doing. So this is when this angel's taking Paul up through the firmament or whatever. It says, "And the angel answered and said unto me, Follow me, and I will show you the place of the just, where they are led when they are deceased. And after these things, taking thee into the abyss, I will show thee the souls of sinners, and what sort of place they are led into when they have deceased. And I proceeded back after the angel, and he led me into heaven. And I looked back upon the firmament, and I saw in the same place." So he's talking about what he saw in the firmament. And he says, "I saw in the same place power, and there was there oblivion, which deceives and draws down to itself the hearts of men, and the spirit of detraction, and the spirit of fornication, and the spirit of madness, and the spirit of insolence. And there were there the princes of vices. These I saw under the firmament of heaven." Okay, let me tell you that this is talking about demons under the firmament of heaven. Demons that when we see a shooting star or something like that, my understanding that that's a demon. And that is actually in the Testament of Solomon. There's a good explanation of what some of these things are. Shooting stars and meteors. They're inhabited. I don't think a meteor, if we found a meteorite on the ground, I don't think that that's a demon. But I do think that the explanation is that they can fly up to the firmament and listen in on the judgments of men and things. They can listen in on information from the heavens. But they can only stay up there for a short amount of time, and then they come zooming down, and men think that they're falling stars. But they're not. They're demons. So anyway, that's from the Testament of Solomon. But this here, he saw all those things when he looked back upon the firmament, okay? But then he talks about also seeing angels without mercy, having no pity, whose countenance was full of madness. Let's see here. I'm going to go down to, when he gets up, I think, to the third heaven. Now, I would say not to worry too much about specifically what heaven something's in, because we don't really know. I mean, we can read these things and try to understand it, but I don't think it's smart for anyone to have like a debate about, are the stars in the third heaven or the fifth heaven? Come on. We can read the scriptures, and there's, in the Apocalypse of Abraham and things, there's places where we get ideas of even more specifically where the stars are, where the sun and moon are. And so I think it's important to keep in mind that we don't know how these things are laid out except by these old scriptures that we have. So it's not like a knowledge fight or something like that. You get what I'm saying? We read about them. And I believe these things are true. But I'm trying to look for the part where he gets up to this city. Let's see. Might be way down here. I'm not sure. This is why I wanted to find that video. But I don't know if I'd be able to find that video. He took me down from the third heaven. Okay, so I think I passed it. Sorry, guys, but this is worth looking for. Because there's this place that was revealed to Paul, but he couldn't speak about it. It was words that were unlawful to speak in the world. That's a big deal. But let me show you in Romans 16 really quick what I am talking about, this secret. Okay. So this is Paul writing this. He says, "Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began, but now is made manifest, and by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting God, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. To God only wise be glory through Jesus Christ forever. Amen." So that's interesting. Paul reveals there that the way that he preached or taught or whatever you want to call it was based upon this revelation that he received. That was the secret since the world began. So that it's important, I think, because it says here, made manifest by the scriptures of the prophets and according to the commandment of God, made known. So that's the commandment, that it's made known to all nations for the obedience of faith, for people to believe in. So this is what I think the gospel of the kingdom is. That's what I think this is. And, I know a lot of people probably disagree with a lot of things I say, but I'm only saying what I believe or whatever. It's not like I'm against, it's not like I know these things are true. Everything I know everything. No, it's not like that. I just have understanding that I have, and I'm just sharing that if I can. Let's see here. I still want to find this. He talks about, and I can't remember the wording or anything. It's been a while since I looked at this. Yeah, it is here somewhere though. Okay. Oh yeah, look at this is a weird thing. And this is 13 here. "And I said to the angel, I wish to see the souls of the just of the sinners going out of the world. And of sinners, the just and of sinners going out of the world. The angel answered and said unto me, Look down upon the earth. And I looked down from heaven upon the earth and saw the whole world. And it was nothing in my sight. And I saw the sons of men as though they were not and a wanting. And I wondered and said to the angel, Is this the greatness of men? And the angel answered and said unto me, It is. And these are they who do evil from morning till evening. And I looked and saw a great cloud of fire spread over the whole world. And I said to the angel, What is this, my Lord? And he said to me, This is injustice stirred up by the princes of sinners. So then he wept. Let's see here. I'm going to keep skimming a little bit. Okay, then he's looking at a different kind of soul. Let's see here. Okay, we'll start in 15 here. And he saith unto me, Look again down on the earth, and watch the soul of an impious man going out of the body. Maybe this isn't what I'm looking for. No, that's not it. Okay, they're still talking about the wretched soul. He talks about paradise. He talks about that's something revealed. Maybe I gotta find the video. There, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, hey, wait. Here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start at 19. I think that's where we need to start. The angel answered and said unto me, Hast thou perceived all these things? And I said, Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he said to me, Follow me again, and I will take thee and show thee the places of the just. And I followed the angel, and he raised me to the third heaven. and placed me at the entry of the door, and looking carefully I saw, and the door was of gold, and 2 columns of gold full above of golden letters. And the angel turned again to me and said, Blessed wert thou. I don't know, this might not be the best version. If thou had entered into these doors, for it is not allowed to any to enter except only to those who have goodness and innocence of body in all things. And I asked the angel about everything and said, Sir, tell me on what account these letters are put upon those tables. And the angel answered and said unto me, These are the names of the just, serving God with their whole heart, who dwell on the earth. And again I said, Sir, therefore their names and countenance and the likeness of these who serve God are in heaven, and are known to the angels, for they know who are the servants of God with all their heart before they go out of the world. Okay, I'm still looking for this part. It talks about this paradise being revealed at the end of days, like at the end of the age or whatever. Sorry for the silence. I know when you're live, it feels like you can't leave silent air. Okay, here's where Paul says, here's where there's that words he can't utter. The angel answered and said to me, Whatever I now show thee here, and whatever thou shalt hear, tell it not to anyone in the earth. And he led me and showed me. Okay, here it is, guys. And there I heard words which it is not lawful for a man to speak. And again he said, For now follow me, and I will show thee what thou oughtest to narrate in public and relate. So he's telling him what to say in public and how to do it. Okay. This, I think, is where it is, guys. This is what I was looking for, I think. Oceanus. Yes, this is it. Okay. And he took me down from the 3rd heaven and led me into the 2nd heaven. And again, he led me on to the firmament. And from the firmament, he led me over the doors of heaven. The beginning of its foundation was on the river, which waters all the earth. And I asked the angel and said, Lord, what is this river of water? And he said to me, This is Oceanus. And suddenly I went out of heaven, and I understood that it is the light of heaven which lightens all the earth. For the land there is 7 times brighter than silver. And I said, Lord, what is this place? And he said unto me, This is the land of promise. Okay, listen to this, guys. This is crazy stuff. This is the land of promise. Hast thou never heard what is written? Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. The souls, therefore, of the just, when they have gone out of the body, are meanwhile dismissed to this place. And I said to the angel, Then this land will be manifested before the time? Okay, all I'm saying, guys, is just think about flat earth. It's the place where you live, the land under your feet. Just think about it. And it was something revealed. I think every flat earther, many flat earthers understand that it was something revealed on a supernatural level. And we don't care if other people believe us or not. We want them to believe us. But, of course, there's just people like MC Toon that say, gotta lie to flurf, whatever that means. No, you don't. You just have to be honest about your surroundings and pay attention to them. That's another story. So, here we go. Then this land will be manifested before the time. And the angel said to me, When Christ, whom thou preachest, shall come to reign, then by the sentence of God, the first earth will be dissolved, and this land of promise will then be revealed. The first earth will be dissolved, and this land of promise will then be revealed, and it will be like dew or cloud, and then the Lord King Jesus Christ, or the Lord Jesus Christ, the King eternal, will be manifested and will come with all his saints to dwell in it, and he will reign over them 1,000 years, and they will eat of the good things which I shall now show unto thee. That was the part I was talking about. it talks about this land being manifested before the time. And then it says, the angel answered and said to me, when Christ, whom thou preachest, shall come to reign, then by the sentence of God the first earth will be dissolved, and this land of promise will then be revealed. Tell me in the chat how many of you the globe is something that does not exist to you anymore. It's dissolved. But there is a new place that you understand that you live in. And it's not a globe. All I'm trying to do is encourage people that see the truth and believe the truth. I'm just trying to encourage you guys. This is something that Jenna Loves Flatter says, what are we reading? It's the vision of St. Paul. And I don't know if these are chapters or what these are. But it's about, he wrote about when he went to the third heaven. Tom Morgan says, I see a new heaven and a new earth. I do too. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily the one in Revelation, but it is true. When I look up at the stars, I see something completely. I see the kingdom of God. That's what the stars are. That's what that whole thing in the sky is. Heaven. It's his throne. It's not outer space. It's not a solar system. That's just cartoon stuff. So it's amazing. Anyway. I'm glad I found that. It was worth the looking for that. Let's see here. I do have something to play. Where did it go? The Dream of Apollo. Think about this once.
When we could resume the Dream of Apollo. The goal of SpaceX really was to make as much progress as possible to advance rocket technology to the point where hopefully we can establish a colony on Mars. Dream of Apollo.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
Apollo.
Apollyon.
Apollo.
Apollyon.
And we could resume the Dream of Apollo.
Yeah, so if you want to be involved in resuming the dream of the, what is it, Roman god, Apollo, kind of like Elon Musk is interested in doing. He wants to go to Mars. And you know how silly that looks from my point of view. You're just being deceived, Elon. All this money and all this effort you're putting into this whole space and Mars stuff is all for naught. Mark my words. They aren't my words. I read them in a book. It's scary. Scary. Let's see here. One interesting thing that I saw was Tiger Bear's comment. I get bogged down by the worries of this world. I forget how epic our lives are, and the more we glorify God with our lives, the more life I have. So true. It is easy to get bogged down, isn't it? Like, just by everything happening, and some of us are like, how long does this go on for? Because it feels like, some kind of supernatural journey that's happening while it's ignored at the same time, and it's weird. It's really weird. So yeah, Thomas Morgan, hopefully we can hook up for a live stream this weekend, or maybe, what would that be, tomorrow? No, that would be the day after tomorrow. It's Thursday. So yeah, I'm just looking through my videos. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can't. Okay, here we go with the rest of this video.
The angel of the bottomless pit.
Apollo.
Do you guys know who Daniel Pratt is? Here's something that he, it was like a compilation of some of his videos a while ago, a long time ago. I think it's probably 2018 or something that I made this. But I just took some of the stuff he was talking about and put it together and censored it, if you know Dan. But he says some pretty good stuff, and I see what you guys are talking about in the chat. And Jenna Love says, I don't have any more friends, but I have also never felt closer to Jesus. I think that's a much better thing than like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having friends, but yeah. Jason Jake Chatham, if I'm saying that right, says most of the people can't wake up. That's why we're here.
There is no logic to it. There's no way we can be with billions of people thinking they're clung to a ball spinning at ridiculous speeds, upside down, inside out, and every other direction. It is absurd to those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear. Just as what we believe is absurd to those clinging to that ball spinning, whirling, twirling, dizzy, upside down, and so confused they literally don't know which end is up. Literally, they think there is no up and down. This is exactly how we were told it would be. If the Bible is lies, why did it clearly point this out to us? Again, Matthew 10:34 through 36. Think not that I come to bring peace on earth, but a sword. Your own family will turn against you, will be your foe. People that are still denying Jesus, denying the Bible. If you think you fully got your mind wrapped around God and what He does and His wisdom, hello, you're trying to be God. I just need to do what He guides me to do. Even though I'm blunt, it's what I need to be saying. I'm not perfect in my delivery, but I'm also not the one coming up with the message to deliver. As I read in the Bible again, it says, don't think about what you're going to say. God will say it through you. God will use me as His tool to reveal the truth. That those that can't comprehend the flat earth because they don't have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, yet many of them will, absolutely, when His time comes, when He reveals it to them, because it's God's plan. It's His playbook. Then flat earth came along. Okay, now we're starting to make some sense. And especially as I started to talk about it and saw the supernatural spell and delusion that people are under. The overwhelming majority do not have the eyes to see and ears to hear. All they can hear is Lucifer's lies. For now. Those that do have the eyes and ears will continue to warn, will continue to be used as God's tools until enough awaken and His will be done. It has to go this way. Your friends, your family, the majority of people, pretty much everybody you know will turn against you. And the more they do, the more you must strengthen your resolve rather than let them weaken it. It's not a insult. It's not anything other than that's what God's telling you through me and others. With my heart and soul, everything I tell you, I believe is absolute truth. And I believe the message comes from the Almighty Yahweh. He is speaking to you through us tools, us nobodies, us servants of Him. We are simply the voice boxes He is speaking through. This doesn't mean we're special. It doesn't mean we're anything but just tools. Like a screwdriver, like a hammer. He just loves us just like He loves you. Otherwise, He wouldn't demand we share the message. He wouldn't compel us to come out here and be belittled and berated and insulted and threatened and ridiculed and everything else that comes along with it. Persecuted. If you are being persecuted, you are on the right path. God bless you for it. Pray for strength. Pray for the full armor of God, because we're going to need it. God bless you all.
So that was Daniel Pratt. I like that video. Thomas, I don't know about a link because I don't know. I'll try to do a search here really quick. When I type in Daniel, I get lots of here. Let's see here. I got a link for everyone. It's not Daniel Pratt though. It's a link that came up. Oh wait. Lots of videos of Daniel Pratt's are not in existence anymore. Here we go. I found it. Get shareable link. Okay. That was funny, but right when I did the search, Thomas, you came up on there right away because it was Daniel 7 or whatever, and you were in your semi and you were going through the beasts in Daniel 7. I could link that. Should I? Let's see here. Here's the video we just watched. I'll just say Daniel Pratt. Whoops, you might have to put a space there. Let me do that. Let me just redo the link. There's a Daniel Pratt link. And then let's see here. Where's this Thomas one? This is actually a really good video. The beasts in Daniel 7 and 8. Here we go. This is a good one, you guys. This is a truck driver studying his Bible in the back of his truck while he's waiting to, like, while he's driving. Not while he's driving, but while he's on a, what do you call that, Thomas? A trip, I guess. Where is this thing here? Okay. I'm calling it Thomas Morgan Bible Study. You guys will like it. It's a good one. I'm gonna maybe have to watch this one in the background when I'm working or something pretty soon. Here we go. That's a good one. I'll put it in there one more time. That's a good one. The beasts in Daniel 7 and 8. So, I think that's about all I got to say today. Let's see here. Well, you know what? We'll listen to... Now, this is an old video, but I'm going to point out with this video what it's like to pretend that you're believing something. Pretend you're believing the Bible. Oh, wait. By the way, welcome Buzzin23. Got a good question. It says, so which is the right or true religion? Well, here's my take on that. And I hope I'm not wrong, but here's my take on that. Jesus is not like a religion. He was, in reality, the Son of God, which is something crazy complex to try to understand, and I think we'd probably be all like wrong if we said we understood it. But that he came here with a purpose, and several purposes, but as far as religion goes, he was against religion because that's what he fought when he was on the earth. And that's if you listen to the Gospels or read the Gospels, like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you'll read about the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and these were the religion of those days, if you will. And he was against everything that they did because they weren't. They had like their own made up way to, like, about God's laws and things that the same scriptures, but they had changed them with their religion. So what I would say is look to the Bible, because I believe that is where we find the Word of God, and it is a reliable book no matter what version you read. There's things that certain translations that I personally think gets a lot of things wrong, but I don't think that it matters overall. What I'm saying is it's a consistent book all throughout time. I mean, in the last 2,000 years anyway. It hasn't, people say it's been grabbled and changed, and then I would say more realistically it's been changed just as language has changed. But with the resources we have today, you can go look at BibleHub.com and just research one verse or one word, and you'll find that there's so much information at our fingertips that these scriptures all match each other, whether they're translated a little different or wrong or whatever. The whole story is in there. That's what's important. And he speaks through reading these words. So that's my take. I don't think that religion is necessarily a good thing. I think religion comes from men, and what we want to do is we want to look to God for instruction, not men. So, a lot of people, I can't think of anything, but you go to a church, you might have to be a certain way or something that church believes in or something. And I'd steer away from that type of, like, belief in things. Don't believe something because other people told you. Believe it because God told you, or that God wrote it down, or that, you know what I'm saying? So you're welcome, Buzzin23. I always like seeing you around. Thank you for hanging out, and everybody else too. So here we go. Pastor Charles Lawson is a great example of someone who doesn't want to let go of these lies that the world told us. And I'm not ripping on him. I love the guy. I think he's awesome. But I think that he has a hard heart right for some of these truths that are being revealed. And he doesn't believe that they're being revealed from heaven. Even though I think that God is revealing these things from heaven, because I didn't think of them. I don't think there's anybody that believes in flat earth that would say, oh, I thought of this. I figured this one out. No, we were taught about this. It was like a journey of learning about it. And everyone should admit that. I think that's been involved in learning it. That's what it is. We didn't know it. We didn't know it. Our whole lives, we didn't know it. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Good. Buzzin23 says, I knew I didn't have to go to church in order to be good with Jesus. Yeah. I think that a lot of times church is probably, like, the way I would look at it is more like a hangout, somewhere to hang out with people. And now, don't get me wrong. I think that, like, if you guys know Jesus Freak, Computer Greek, he would point out right now, if he was here, he would be making sure that I point out that if we're witnesses of this truth, and if we believe that we see this truth because we're supposed to let our light shine, if you know what I mean. I know that Jesus Jesus Freak Computer Geek would remind me to say that at church, this is a place where people meet to learn about these things. So it's not bad to go to a church. And, so I'm not saying that at all. But at the same time, I agree 100%. I like what Buzz and 23 is saying. It says, but to learn more about him, I should go to church, right? That's one way to learn about him, but I think you can learn about him faster directly from him. So like by reading the Bible, reading wherever he ends up showing you to read or whatever, however you end up there, there's a supernatural thing that happens when you read it. Those words come off the page and they really have meaning. And that's the Holy Spirit that can do that. So let's see here. Well, Jason Jake Chatham says the only church temple God is in the temple on your head, or in your head probably. One thing I would have to say, Jason Jake, is remember that all throughout the scriptures, God's temple and his throne is up in heaven. So what my understanding is that his Holy Spirit, or the Holy Ghost, or the Spirit of Truth, whatever we want to describe his spirit as, it proceeds from his throne, proceeds from God in heaven, like from the Father in heaven. That's what Jesus said. So, yes, the temple of God is, and the kingdom of God is within you, and you are the temple of God. That's 100% true. But Thomas Morgan says the temple of God is in heaven, but through the Spirit we are that temple that is in us. We are one with the Spirit. So I'm just saying that we have to, my understanding, I mean, this is why it's so important, why I feel like it's so important to talk about this aspect, is because Isaiah 66:1 says, the heaven is my throne, the earth is my footstool. He looks down upon the circle of the earth. He's literally in the sky. And that's where all through the book of Revelation, his temple is in heaven. The angels are going in and out, and it's up in heaven. And, they ascend up to the temple. It's a place up in the sky. And then we also know that it comes down out of heaven from God. New Jerusalem does. It comes down out of heaven from God. And then he will be the temple. Interesting how that works, but yeah, I think I just like to point out that God's temple's in heaven, and it's a huge kingdom. And we can look up at it when we look out at the stars. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing his whole kingdom. So anyway, John Garlic says, "Know you not that you are the temple of the Holy Spirit?" That's what Paul wrote to the Corinthians, I think. Yeah. It would be a story, wouldn't it? Buzz and 23 says, "Whoa, that'd be quite the story to tell if the Bible spoke to me." How I said. Well, I know that it spoke to me not audibly, but it spoke to me way more powerfully than audible words, Are the pictures on the bottom moving? Not now. They've just been paused this whole time. So speaking of moving, here's this video I want to play, and then I'm going to probably head out. But I'm planning on going live more often, and hopefully Saturday, maybe me and Thomas. Like in the afternoon, evening, or whatever. Probably early evening or something. But we'll figure it out. And we'll be talking about this gospel being preached. Because it goes right along with what Paul was saying, a mystery being revealed, and what Isaiah said about the glory of the Lord being revealed and all flesh seeing it together. Luke chapter 3, when John the Baptist quoted Isaiah, he said a little different. He said, all flesh shall see the salvation of God. It's something revealed in the last times. which I believe we're in. Here we go. Here's, I would call, the attitude that we need to come out from thinking we know everything.
The earth is spinning, and it gives us the seasons.
Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved, that it be not moved.
The earth is spinning, and it gives us the seasons.
Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever, that it should not be removed forever.
Getting deep into the actual, movement of the earth.
The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved.
Movement of the earth as it related to the stars and to the sun. There's an odd thing that takes place on this earth. You know that one spin of the earth is a 24 hours, okay? That's one day.
In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof.
If it's spun on a perfect vertical axis, then nothing would change as far as the relationship of the stars to the earth, but it doesn't. It wobbles.
For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them.
And it takes it 25,000 and something years to make one wobble. It takes it one day to make one turn. The earth is spinning, and it gives us the seasons. Now this wobble is what we call the precession of the equinoxes. No man's lived long enough to observe this. No man's lived long enough to observe this. The stars change position in the heavens ever so slowly.
Say among the heathen that the Lord reigneth. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved. He shall judge the people righteously. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved.
And what we have here is that the earth is turning back against the stars, but it's spinning in the other direction for the day. So it's spinning in two different directions. All right, and it's not spinning in two different directions. It's spinning in one direction, but as it spins, it wobbles.
The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved.
The North Star has changed over time, and it has changed down through time because of the wobbling of the earth.
That it should not be removed forever.
When you take a position where you absolutely and dogmatically state, well, if you don't believe this, you're not a believer. Yes, I am a believer.
If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?
The earth is spinning.
The world also is established, that it cannot be moved.
And it offends me to my soul for somebody to tell me, because I don't believe in a flat earth, that I'm not a believer.
But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues.
You're welcome. You're welcome to come. I want to say that one more time. You are welcome to come to Temple Baptist Church if you believe in a flat earth. Just don't try to evangelize people.
But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them.
But I'll tell you right now, folks, if you believe in a flat earth, these people out here are laughing their head off at you.
If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you.
They are laughing their head off at you.
And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
It shouldn't have to happen. A Johnny-come-lately trumped up something that came out of the cracks, and all of a sudden it's the rage.
If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
And everybody's jumping on board of the flat earth thing.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
The one thing that absolutely convinces me is this Christian astronaut who spent over a year up there, and all the photographs and all the videos that he made. Is this man a liar? And he's not the only one.
And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man which is in heaven.
With a sphere, a globe, whatever you want to believe, that's up to you.
And the gospel must first be published among all nations. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness.